Hi there, this is Tilda speaking,
And I'm Jubi.
and welcome to Near&QueerSFF. Hi everyone. Well, here we are, finally. It's arrived, season 2, and we're so excited to be watching it. I'm not disappointed. Are you?
I have notes, but overall, I'm still on board.
That's good. Well, I had unbelievably high expectations of this second season.
Mm-hmm.
So I expected to automatically be let down because how can you live up to that? And I haven't been. I haven't been flying off the handle either of joy and happiness, but I still think it's great. At least it's just as beautiful. There are a few things that I think they are trying to repeat from season 1,
Yeah.
but other than that, I'm quite happy.
Before we get into the discussion, we just want to make sure listeners are aware that there will be spoilers for any already released material. We'll be discussing each piece of media as a whole rather than chronologically, so we will assume that if you're listening, you've already watched or read the material, or you don't care about spoilers.
I guess if I had a criticism, it would be the pacing. It is breakneck, and I feel like
Yeah.
season 1 was very measured. It was very thoughtful. It was very emotional. Things were given time to breathe.
Yeah.
And this season, it does not feel like that at all.
It's moving fast.
And it's not just the writing, it's like the animation is also moving fast. It feels like the animators were kind of pressed for time and trying to cram too much into the space that they had. It's almost like everything is slightly sped up or something, is how it feels to me watching it. Like nothing is given time to breathe at all. And I get why, because they're trying to fit in stuff that was supposed to be in season 1. There was supposed to be a Vi Jinx showdown that was supposed to be in season 1. So most of Act 1 is stuff that was supposed to be the last episode of season 1. And so I have hope that now that they've moved through all of that stuff, that the next 2 acts can have a little more time to breathe.
Okay.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
I can't really say anything about it was supposed to be in the first season, but now it's in season 2. So therefore it feels different because I can only analyze and interpret what is there and how that makes me feel. And I agree with you. I think it's fast.
Yeah.
I think it wanted to get a lot off its chest. It wanted to live up to season 1. So there was a thing that they did in season 1 that they sort of did again. Like in episode 7, after the intro that we get with the Imagine Dragons song. In episode 7, we see a sort of music video intro where we get a different style of animation and we get a song and we introduce something, or we see something in a different light, in a different way. And they did exactly that thing in episode 1 and episode 2. After the intro, there's sort of a music video and the animation is different and there's a song playing and you get sort of an emotional feel instead of lines and dialogue.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so you know how to do that well. Maybe do something else now.
Yeah.
And I think they did in episode 3, but they were using some of their things again. And I was like, a little disappointed.
They did do it again in episode 3. There's a
They
little
did it in third as well?
Yes, it's like a little summary of their team breaking into the ducts underground, explaining what the weird schematics that Caitlin was looking at in I think the first episode were.
Right, that's more a repetition, but still sort of an overview with a song and different kind of animation. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm really hoping that Act 2, that the Vi Pit Fighter arc is going to be that, because it's a music montage, but it's at least their usual animation style, so it's a little different.
Yeah. Also because it's like trying to give us history quickly.
Yeah. Now that we've kind of gotten that off our chest,
yes,
we're going to go through chronologically, because we know what the big moment is that everybody's going to want to talk about and hear about. And there was a lot of stuff that happened before that. And so we kind of have to cover that stuff first.
Yes. Some good moments.
Then we'll get there.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to talk about Violin. But I do have to say one thing.
All right.
I was dying laughing about how they left all of the like, who's alive after the bomb on the council? Like, what happened to Mel and Jace and Victor and Cassandra? And none of that was in the trailers. Like, they held that back.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
answered it in the first 2 minutes. Literally
Yeah.
the first 2 minutes of the
I
cold
wondered
open.
at that as well. It's like, when you're revealing it that soon, why on earth are you holding it back in the trailers?
But I think that maybe that's why, because they were like, well, we're going to tell them right away, so why waste time in the trailers on it? So the first thing we really see after that, I think, is a music montage of the funeral and
Yeah.
Caitlin mourning and Vi kind of watching her and looking really, really guilty.
Mm.
And all of that, I feel like we predicted.
Yeah.
That felt like what we talked about in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There was Vi watching Caitlin with lyrics about closing the door forever, and I was like, ouch, ouch.
I wrote that down as well. The song goes, I just watched as the door closed for good because I could not keep it open.
Yeah.
It's also about the mother.
It is.
And she's definitely torn up about that, also, like we predicted. But there are a few things with the pacing with violin that's a little different than we predicted. We had predicted they would be much more, guilt-ridden and not quite ready to be in each other's presence and sharing things quite the same way.
They were awkward, though. Like, I think Vi was staying there because she didn't have anywhere else to go, and Caitlin couldn't bring herself to just kick her out or something.
I don't think she wanted to kick her out.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think she understood why her dad was uncomfortable with her being there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I immediately knew when they kind of approached each other and how hesitant it was. I was like, okay, they are not in a relationship right now.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yes, they were touchy. And part of that is just they're both really touchy people.
Yeah.
But they were definitely hesitant and not sure where they stood with each other.
Yeah, especially in the beginning. They were like touching and then backing off, getting close and then backing off.
Yeah. And we saw that there was this little moment of tension after Caitlin unexpectedly hugs Vi, which looked a lot like when she hugs her on the bridge.
Yeah.
But Caitlin kind of breaks away from that and it's like, no.
Exactly.
And that made sense. That was what I expected.
Yeah, because it would be too soon in that moment
Mm-hmm.
for them to move in, and Caitlin is hurting. But the tension was there, definitely, for something more. But Caitlin sort of puts an end to it. She can't really handle both emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that scene and how I really like the fact that Caitlin is so stoic, trying to be stone-faced. We can see on her face that she's, feeling the feelings,
Mm-hmm.
being very upset about her mother's death, which we also predicted.
Mm-hmm.
But there are no tears at any point until she is there with Vi.
Mm-hmm.
Then she breaks because it seems like Vi is the one who she can show her true emotions to.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that intimacy.
Yeah, I liked that too because I know what that feels like to have certain people or situations where you hold yourself back, but then there's always that person that you cannot do that with.
Yeah, she can't hold back and she needs a hug. And first, I actually think the hug is somewhat awkward for Vi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Caitlin just throws herself and she's throwing all her weight onto Vi,
Mm-hmm.
hanging on. She's not really standing on her legs. And then Vi is holding her, but her hands are in fists around her back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered at that. Why is she doing that? But then in the end, when the hug carries on, she opens her hands and hugs Caitlin a bit tighter. But I thought she was a little bit standoffish at first.
Well, it made me think of on the bridge scene, Vi is actually startled.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of has to process it for a moment. And I think it was the same thing.
Yeah, but it lasted longer than I thought it would have.
The hug?
No, her hesitation.
That makes sense because I think she feels really guilty and just wasn't expecting that and didn't really know what to do with it.
Mm.
And she has all these feelings for Caitlin, but she also kind of knows that this is not the time.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of that going on for Vi. I'm like in love with this person, but I know that this is not the time for this.
And I don't deserve to love her. I don't deserve her love.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help her, but I don't know how. And I don't know if I may help her, if she wants me to help her. And even if she wants me to help her, am I supposed to? Because I'm the guilty party.
Yeah.
So I guess Caitlin catches up to that when she sort of goes back.
She can be emotionally impulsive, and I think that her emotional impulsivity is very, very heightened in these 3 episodes.
Yeah.
It was more controlled in season 1. She was more aware of it. She had better control of it.
Yeah.
But in season 2, she is just constantly reacting, not thinking.
Exactly. I definitely agree that she's talking a lot more about her own feelings, much more than we've seen in all of season 1. But still, they talk very little about them.
Yeah.
They talk about how they're going to catch Jinx together and how the city needs this and that, and how they're going to try to better the situation. But they're not, except for one moment that we're getting to, they don't really talk about each other to each other.
Yeah, that's true.
They haven't had the talk.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing about Caitlin before we go back to violin? You could summarize all of season 1 shortly, and you can actually do it without Caitlin. Because season 1 is so much about Vi and Jinx, about Jace and Hextech, and whatever's going on there. Caitlin is sort of an add-on. She certainly isn't in season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the one I think who has the most screen time in all of Act 1.
Yeah.
It's her emotions, her grief, her loss, her vendetta. That's what most of it circles around.
Yeah. That makes sense when we see the end of episode 3.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that happened kind of early on that I loved was that we got to see Vi save Caitlin at the memorial and kind of see them fight together.
Yeah, fight to help each other.
Yeah, fight alongside each other in a way that they didn't really get to do in season 1.
No.
It was fun. That was enjoyable. And I loved that afterwards, Caitlin offered her hand to Vi without needing to be asked.
Yes, definitely. I like that as well.
Because in the season 1 scene, after the Savika fight, Vi has to be like, "Are you going to help me up, Cupcake?" You know?
Yeah.
But this time, the hand is already there when Vi looks up.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of get you with that. You're like, oh, how sweet.
Yeah. They may not exactly be on the same page because after the hug, which was very nice, they kind of, go at odds because she asks her to be an enforcer and Vi gets angry and it's like, you weren't thinking at all. So with that hand pulling her up, they're back to being partners, I guess.
Yeah. And I feel like Vi saying that was actually the simplest way to describe Act 1 Caitlin. She wasn't thinking at all.
Good point.
Vi was very blunt, but I don't think that she said anything that was incorrect.
No, she was very blunt and very quick to judge and quick to anger. But yeah, I don't think she was off. I think Caitlin was just, she cannot get under the cloud of her grief.
Yeah.
And I like those moments where we actually see her almost disappearing into darkness.
Yeah.
With the beautiful, beautiful scene with the tree, with the purple leaves. They land onto the ground where it's like black. And she wants to go get Jinx. She really wants to go get Jinx. And it's the image from episode 9 of season 1 from the tea party. It's that image of Jinx that she sees there. That's who she wants to kill.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, that's the shot she didn't take that she tells her father of.
Yeah. And that line, that was one of my, aha, we predicted that moments. But one thing I was actually glad to see is that even though Vi has very strong feelings for her, she wasn't afraid to challenge her.
Yeah.
And I liked seeing that. I liked actually seeing Vi challenge her rather than be like, but if I butt heads with her, I'm going to lose her. That said a lot to me, actually, about Vi's moral character.
Yeah. I mean, she goes right outside and then she's drinking in the rain under a bridge with another delinquent. So she's definitely not feeling good about it or processing in a productive way, but she definitely stood her ground. And I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And I mean, that was definitely foreshadowing what we know is coming in Act 2 as well. The drinking with that guy too.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun, but also kind of sad.
Yeah. I wonder at that character. that man. Is he an enforcer to begin with? I can't tell with that blue jacket.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he's wearing an enforcer uniform in that scene, and it's just unbuttoned.
Do we even know his name?
No.
Mm.
I like seeing all these different kinds of enforcers. And seeing Maddie, she got a name.
Yeah.
I was like, why does she get a name and nobody else does? But I did kind of have an issue with it, though, because I felt like we didn't need that many new enforcer characters who had absolutely no character development.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come back in Act 2, but in Act 1, I was just like, what is the purpose of these characters other than wasting the animation team's time? I'm sorry. Like, I know that's a harsh criticism.
Yeah, I also felt that it was a little contrived because all of season 1, there is exactly two good enforcers, and that's Grayson and that's Caitlin.
Mhm.
And the rest are just, dubious or violent or follow orders. There's nothing interesting or human about them. They wear masks or they look the same.
Mhm.
And now suddenly there are, 3 more nice enforcers. It's as if like, oops, we forgot to show the nice side of the enforcers, so let's just quickly push that in there.
To me, it made sense because we were seeing it from the Undercity's perspective in season 1.
Yeah.
This is seeing it from Piltover's perspective in season 2.
Yeah.
But it's not like we really saw much of other enforcers other than those kind of chatty ones that got blown up in season 1.
Exactly.
We also didn't spend as much time in that environment. And so to me, it made sense that when Vi joins the enforcers, we're going to see the enforcers in a more human light because she has that perspective now and we have that perspective now. Whereas before they were always this kind of other, aside from Marcus, who sucked.
Okay, well, I understand. Your explanation makes sense. It still felt contrived to me.
Yeah.
But, okay, so back to violin. Well, they had that nice moment after the fighting scene where Caitlin is sharing some of her feelings about her mother leaving a hole in her heart.
Yeah.
And how do you feel it?
That was something that we talked about privately. It didn't make it into the podcast, but I remember us having a conversation about whether they would have a moment where they kind of shared something about the fact that they've both lost their mothers.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Vi saying, you don't fill the hole.
Yeah. Well, also after the hug, they also say something about it. You have lost my family to enforcers. You don't know what it's like. I do know what it's like.
Yeah. I felt like Vi was saying, you're literally asking me to join the organization that killed my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what Caitlin was saying was, I also know what it's like to lose a parent.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but that's not the same thing as what you're asking Vi to do.
Yeah, that's not what Vi meant.
Yeah.
But they were still talking about loss there. But the moment after the fight, when they're in the tent, it's much more intimate and much more calm.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, even if it's calmer, even if it's more intimate, Caitlin is still off the deep end. I mean, or in the throes of her grief.
Mm-hmm.
She cannot seem to figure out how to get out of it.
And I think it's interesting that that's probably the most personal thing we've ever really seen her share.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about her emotional state.
Yeah.
She is an absolute fucking mess in Act 1.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to get better in Act 2.
No. I mean, she has quiet moments and she has moments where she's sharing, but she's fucked up. She's really not well at all. And I think Vi is the only one, and perhaps Jace, who see how bad she is. Jace is actually kind of surprised at her rather violent outburst when they're sitting on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good for Caitlin.
No. As far as episode 2, Caitlin is going off the deep end again.
Yeah. She can't control her emotions at all.
Yeah.
And that the fact that she shoots without there even being a target. Well, there are targets, but she's not really shooting at the targets.
Yeah.
She's shooting because something wasn't there, and that's so unlike her.
Yeah.
She's such a controlled shot, usually.
Mm-hmm. It's like an expression of her frustration and rage.
Exactly. And it feeds into the moment where she really wants to shoot Jinx when the child is there.
Yeah. One thing that I noted, because we haven't really talked about Jinx at all, and we did do an episode on her, so I feel like it's fair game. I thought it was important to see that Jinx couldn't shoot Vi, and that she cried. So she's definitely still feeling emotions about things.
Yeah, definitely.
Are we ready to move on to the big one?
I think so. Yes, so they kissed. Yay!
Weirdly, that was not my reaction.
That's my reaction now.
Yeah.
It wasn't when I watched it either. It was more, calm, sort of, aww.
Yeah. I had very mixed feelings when I was watching it. It felt very off to me. Like, it was 7 minutes into the episode. It felt like it didn't really have a lot of build up. Yes, I know we had all of season 1, but that was like 4 days. But that scene just felt kind of rushed to me.
The pacing is off with that as well. I agree.
It didn't have that sense of build up, when you've been watching a slow burn and it finally happens and you're just like, yes, like I didn't get that feeling from it.
No.
I think it might be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to unpack there about Caitlin and her feelings and her motivations.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that it was supposed to feel right and be like the big moment.
No.
It was a really strange setting. It was a strange moment. It was Vi telling someone that she really hasn't known for that long that she doesn't want her to change.
Mm-hmm.
And my question was, Caitlin pulled away in episode 1 when they had that moment after the hug.
Yeah.
This time, without even really thinking about it, she went for it. What was the difference?
Well, there isn't one. In my opinion, her emotions are fucked up. So she can't really tell one thing from the other. What am I supposed to do? Did I do it right pulling back? Am I doing it right going all in? I don't think she knows what she's doing. But she reacted to a situation there, and you can see Vi is extremely surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Again, here. She is not expecting this. But I mean, yeah, she likes it when it happens. It's like, oh, let's get rid of these gauntlets and dig into it more. That bit I liked a lot.
Yeah.
The first bit felt also off to me. But again, we both predicted that it would be Caitlin to take the first step. But I agree with you, the kiss itself felt a lot different than I thought it would.
You're probably going to disagree with this, and I'm not necessarily saying that she did it consciously, but I do think that Caitlin was manipulating Vi with that kiss.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and check it out.
I mean, she didn't really think about it, but Vi was challenging her, and Vi was also pointing out, I see you changing and I don't want you to. And I think Caitlin on some level knows that she is. And she didn't want to think about it anymore. So there's that. And she wanted to solidify having Vi on her side.
Oh, yeah. She talked about that earlier. I thought you were on our side.
Yeah. Because she does it so quickly that I wouldn't necessarily say it was any kind of premeditated manipulation.
No.
But I will say, I don't think that she did it for the right reasons. Because there was no difference between that situation and the situation in the first episode that she pulled back from. Other than that, in this situation, Vi was challenging and opposing her, whereas in the other scene, that hadn't happened yet.
Vi challenged her in the end.
Yeah, it was after that moment.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's like, I don't want to lose Vi. I need her on my side. And I think it was both. I need her on my side emotionally, and I need her on my side as a partner so that we can get this done and take out Jinx. So it was kind of both of those things happening in that scene. And there's like a shot afterwards where they're walking through the tunnels.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
And Caitlin's face is just raw
stone,
yeah. And it didn't look like, oh, I'm so happy that I just kissed this girl that I have all these feelings for. That was not the look. And Vi looked kind of,
Yeah, trepidatious, right? She's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
About the whether Caitlin was manipulating or not, I think it's difficult to say. I think you have a point that the only difference between the first scene, where Caitlin is the one showing emotions and crying, being really vulnerable, and then the second scene, it's Vi being really vulnerable. But the only difference is that in this point, Caitlin really needs Vi to stay with her because she has a purpose for Vi. She needs her to confront Jinx. When they're in the hallway, she doesn't need her to do that. She just wants her comfort. And she just wants her to join the enforcers so they can help the city and go after Jinx. But it feels different now because they're past the point of no return almost, right? Because they're deep in the underground. So Caitlin feels there's no going back. She desperately needs Vi to come along. But then again, it's a very small difference. And I guess the whole thing felt quick. The whole thing felt, do they want to do this now? Really?
Yeah.
But I don't think Caitlin consciously is manipulating Vi.
No, I don't either. I don't think that she had time. Like, she just does it so quickly.
But then again, something about this scene also made me feel a little bit like in the bed scene where Vi is showing emotion and being teary-eyed. And then there's suddenly a hand on her cheek and it's Caitlin's. It's the same here. But then, of course, Caitlin is all up in her face and taking her to the next level. And I think Vi is ready for the next level, but I don't think she was expecting it to be there. And she only wants the next level to arrive when Caitlin is ready.
Yeah.
And she's not ready.
No, and I think that was what was interesting about it. Like, there's a reason why Vi wasn't expecting it, and Vi was right to not expect it, and that's also why I felt suspicious of it.
Yeah.
Vi was like, wait, what, now? And Caitlin even has her hand on Vi's leg, and I was like, oh, damn.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that when I rewatched it because Vi's leg is kind of propped up on the wall. And Caitlin, you don't see it until they pull back to the long shot, but she has her hand on Vi's leg too.
Well.
I think the animators did a really incredible job, though, with Vi's facial expressions in that.
Yes, me too.
You could see the surprise and the longing and the, I wasn't expecting this, but oh my God, I'm so smitten with her that I am going for it, you know?
She's holding her breath like, is it happening?
Yeah. This is obviously a central relationship for season 2.
Absolutely.
And so I felt like having it cut away while they're just kind of making out in this dank, ugly underground, like air ventilation tunnel was just really, it was a strange choice.
There are violins playing. The music is building up to this romantic moment cut. It was too short, way too short.
But the thing is, I don't think that was supposed to be the big moment that we all want.
No, it's not. Because we get a breakup rather soon after.
I wouldn't even call that a breakup. Like, they kissed once. They weren't dating.
Yeah, it's not a breakup. I also just in my notes called it a break. Not a breakup, but a break.
Yeah.
Because they've never necessarily been aligned in their partnership objectives, except where they align on Jinx dies or gets shot. They actually align on that, and then they twist apart again towards the end there.
Yeah.
So it's a break from their partnership. It's more than that. It's a breakup from their love story, which has barely left ground.
Yeah. I do, to some extent, understand Caitlin's emotions. Well, I'll get into this more later, but I just want to say, like, having her turn on Vi so quickly after that definitely says Caitlin was not ready for that kiss.
No, she was not in it.
So why the hell did she do it?
Yeah.
That's where I go back to, it was manipulation, whether she intended it to be or not.
Yeah.
Whether she knew it was.
Yeah, but I'm taking the helicopter as well. I'm thinking the show's creators, the writers, were thinking, we need to show people this is not queerbaiting.
Yeah, that may have been part of it.
Yeah, the scene felt a little off because it didn't have to be there like that. I was perfectly aware romantic feelings were going on and that they could have had the break without the kiss. And it would have felt the same to me.
Yeah. I honestly think I might have liked it a little better. Like, I know that they wanted to make it canon and they didn't want to drag it out too much because they probably knew that Netflix was going to break it up into acts again and people were going to have to wait like a week in between each act.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it.
Yeah, me too.
But overall, I feel like we were actually right. They were not in a relationship, a romantic relationship in Act 1.
No.
Saying relationship is too nebulous because they're obviously in a relationship.
Yeah.
On multiple levels, but they weren't a romantic couple.
No.
They were a romantic pairing in the overall broader meta story sense, because they obviously have feelings for each other.
Yeah. They had a thing.
Yeah, they had a situationship.
I don't know what she was thinking in that moment, but I liked that they kissed. There's no doubt about that. And I'm definitely going to be looking into that scene, that kiss, and the what's leading up to it, and then what comes after it, a lot more than I already have. I've seen it, well, a few times, but I need to rewatch all of Act 1 and, of course, watch the rest of Season 2 before I can make up my mind about that scene.
Yeah. I think for me, what felt off about it was that the first episode, we get this kind of romantic tension moment, and then Caitlin pulls away from it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're apart for a while, and then they fight together to defeat an enemy, and then they decide that they're going to be partners, and Vi's going to join the Enforcers.
Yeah.
And then in episode 2, they're hunting Jinx together, but all we really see that I recall is them in these face-covering masks, and we don't really get to see their professional partnership really developing at all. And then the next thing we know, 7 minutes into episode 3, they're making out.
Yeah.
And so the pacing of that was just like, what the fuck?
I understand that too. But again, I think the way they structure Arcane, they are following some specific patterns. So episode 1, season 1, we see it from Vi and Vi and Powder's perspective. We sort of get their origin story. We get whatever happened in their childhood and what happens later with Vanda, etc. And of course the burglary. And then episode 2, boop, switch perspective. Now we're no longer in the Undercity. Now we're in Piltover. And we see it from Caitlin and especially Jace's perspectives. So we don't really see Vi and Powder as much in that episode as we did in the first episode. And season 2 is the same. The first episode is about Piltover. It's about Caitlin and whatever's going on with her and the mother and her grief. And Vi is now a part of that. And then episode 2, we switch perspective, we switch scene, and we go into the Undercity, find out what the hell is going on there, because they weren't in the first episode at all. So it's the same pattern of structuring that the show is doing. So I think that's why we don't get much about them in the second episode. But yeah, having it structured like that makes it feel too quick when you get to the 7 minutes into the third episode. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But I think it's due to that fact that they're choosing to structure it like that.
Yeah, I think it just feels different because in season 1, once Vi and Caitlin meet as adults, they don't take a break from them.
No.
They follow them from the end of episode 4 all the way through episode 9.
Yeah.
And they're actually in a lot of it. There were parts of Act 1 where they felt like afterthoughts to me. And after having them feature so heavily in the back half of season 1, it felt strange to not actually show what them developing a working relationship as enforcers together looked like.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Also because, like I said earlier, Caitlin is becoming main character. Well, main character vibes in the first episode, and now suddenly, nothing about her.
Yeah. I will say, for people who thought that they might have kissed in the bedroom scene, nah.
Yeah, I think we put that one to bed.
Yeah. The way that Vi reacted, both to Caitlin hugging her in the first episode and to Caitlin initiating that kiss, that was definitely not a we've been here before kind of thing. That was new territory.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Vi is completely surprised when Caitlin makes the move on her.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot to say about the actual fight scene because I only watched it once and it went pretty much how I expected, and I just don't have that much to say about it. They fought.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that comes after that I think is what's worth talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's probably something that I'll notice when I rewatch Caitlin's fight with Savika because that was badass.
Yeah.
That does factor in, though, because Caitlin was exhausted after that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to
Yeah.
convince Vi that she wouldn't have missed.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, you could barely walk. You were dragging your feet and looking like you were trying to stay conscious.
Yeah.
I mean, she did manage to shoot Jinx's finger off, and it's a little unclear whether she was aiming for her head and missed
Yeah.
and got the finger, or whether she was actually just shooting at her hand.
If she was aiming for a finger, I would go for the index finger. So I think it was a shooting there where she got it right, but I don't think that's what she aimed for.
Yeah. So we knew that they were going to split because we saw the pit fighter
Yeah.
scene. They released that already. I think they wanted to give us some warning
Yeah.
so that it wouldn't come out of nowhere.
And we expected it anyway.
So what I wasn't expecting, I guess I thought that they might actually have Vi be a little bit wrong in that scene. And I really don't think that she was. Like, I was expecting, I think, for Vi to also maybe do something that you could view as wrong, but I don't think she did. I really cannot fault her for anything she did in that scene.
Mm-mm.
I think some people may try to say that Vi just didn't want to hurt Jinx,
Oh, she did.
that she was trying to use the child to neutralize Caitlyn and save Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that may be a little too simple.
Yeah.
The way that it progresses is complex because Vi is starting to punch down at Jinx,
Mhm.
like full force at her face with the Atlas Gauntlet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that kid comes in and gets in the middle and points a gun in Vi's face.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing this small child come to Jinx's rescue is like this wake-up moment for Vi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's like, what does this child see in my sister that she was willing to do this?
Yeah. I agree.
There must be something in there still.
Yeah.
And then Vi and Jinx are looking at each other and they're making eye contact and there's all this pain, but also love and regret.
Mm-hmm.
The kid coming in kind of allowed that moment to happen. So you could definitely say that by the time Vi stops Caitlyn, she doesn't want Jinx to be hurt, and she's kind of changed her mind. But that doesn't stop the fact that Caitlyn was aiming a gun at a child
Mm-hmm.
who was moving. The child was moving around
Yeah.
all over on top of Jinx. Like, there's no way that Caitlyn could say, no matter how good of a shot you are.
I agree with you. There are multiple things going on in that scene, but whether Vi is protecting Jinx
Mm-hmm.
or the child in that scene, I think it's hard to say. I agree with you. There's a moment, but only 10 minutes earlier, Vi and Caitlin agreed that, okay, if you have the shot, take it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment where we see Jinx, it's in the mirror, but we see Jinx come out and Vi is saying, I'm sorry, and then she ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So she's totally prepared for Jinx is going to die now.
Mm-hmm.
And Caitlin is taking the shot, and she knows she usually doesn't miss. But of course, then Jinx, the schemer, the plotter, the brilliant person that she is, she figured it all out, that was what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the moment where, as you say, Caitlin is exhausted, but she can still lift the gun, but it's a big, massive, heavy rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And Vi is not just trying to save the child, I think. She's trying to save Caitlin.
That was the other thing I was going to say. Yeah, I completely agree.
If Caitlin takes this shot and she accidentally kills that kid, she will never forgive herself.
Yep.
So Vi is in the right in this scene, I agree. Whether her motivations are to protect Jinx or the child or to protect Caitlin, she gets the best out of that situation by managing to stop Caitlin without anyone getting hurt. Yeah, well done, Vi.
Yeah.
And then Caitlin, she is so stuck in her dark grief and anger, hate of Jinx that she cannot see this at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
First, that she had multiple motivations.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, once she and Jinx were actually still and face to face and that child had intervened,
Mm-hmm.
that changed things for Vi.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe what she wanted the outcome to be. Number two, she was considering the safety of a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a very young child. That kid looked like she was like 6 or something. Like probably younger than Powder. Or probably the same age as Powder was in the very first scene of season 1 when they see their parents dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also not wanting Caitlin to A, be willing to risk the child's life in the first place, or B, to find out what it feels like to harm a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vi knows what it's like to lash out and then regret it,
Mm-hmm.
to harm a child. There's also what happened with Jace towards the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
The whole raid was her idea, so I'm sure she feels some personal responsibility for that child's death.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you completely. Vi was functioning on multiple levels, and that's why I can't fault her, because I literally don't think that any of those 3 motivations was wrong.
No, but why should we fault her?
I guess I just thought that maybe because this show likes for things to be gray and mixed up in terms of the morality and who's right and who's wrong.
I think it's good that they sometimes unequivocally go in one direction.
Yeah.
And I think definitely Vi is in the right.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that she's being treated miserably by Caitlin later.
Yes.
When Caitlin is pounding at the rock,
Mm-hmm.
trying to go through something she knows she can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stop me. She cannot go through that way, so I'm going to go through Vi.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lash my anger out at her. And I think also with the micro expressions that we've talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin is looking down after giving her the rifle in the stomach. She's very cold when she looks down at her, but there's a very short moment of regret
Mm-hmm.
at the very end before she goes up the steps.
Then she's just like, well, I did it. I might as well leave.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very brief.
Yeah. I understand Caitlin's emotional state. I understand that she's very focused on the shot that she didn't take in the finale.
Yeah. Yeah. And now she took this shot, but she was prevented.
Yeah. And so because she's so hung up on that,
Mhm.
and Vi stopped her from doing that thing that she's had laser focus on since the end of the season 1 finale,
Exactly.
even though Vi was morally in the right,
Yeah.
unequivocally, it felt like a betrayal to Caitlin
Yeah.
because she's so focused on that moment of her own failure.
Yeah. Definitely.
The other thing I would point out is the hypocrisy of her saying that her mother was right and her own arrogance led to all of this, and then her insisting that she would not have missed when aiming the gun at the child.
Is arrogant.
Incredibly arrogant. And I don't think that's going to get better anytime soon, at least not in Act 2.
No. Not with Ambessa, guiding her.
Yeah.
She's going to feed that arrogance as much as she can. But I'm hoping that Caitlin will withstand that or come to her senses at some point.
Yeah.
When she's no longer in shoot first mode.
Yeah. The other thing is, before the moment with the rifle butt, she took a shot at Vi.
Yeah.
She aimed at her armor,
Yeah.
and it didn't actually hurt Vi, but even then, it was like, Vi was right, you are not thinking.
Yeah.
She is only feeling.
Only reacting.
Yeah.
To her own emotions.
I do feel like that was established in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
That was part of why I felt like she struggles with processing her feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That because there's so much crazy stuff happening, she can't really stop and process how her relationship with Vi is developing. And I feel like that kind of continues here, but it's getting worse and worse and worse, like a snowball rolling down a hill or something,
Yeah.
Like her emotions are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more unmanageable.
Yeah. I agree with the laser focus on shooting Jinx, laser focus on shooting Jinx, laser focus on shooting Jinx. Also, that scene where she's sitting on the bench in the park of the Kiraman mansion,
Mm-hmm.
where it's dark and she sees Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
That feeds that. Every time she's alone and has a moment to think, that's what she sees.
She sees the missed shot and she wants to
take it again.
Yes. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand that it felt like a betrayal when Vi stopped her.
Mm-hmm.
But the one moment where Caitlin actually does stop and pause and think for a minute is right before she gut punches Vi with the rifle butt.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a sudden reaction.
No. Her emotions are running amok in her in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You can see from her chin, it's all, stiff and clenched.
Mm-hmm.
And I think punching Vi in the stomach is sort of like, I can't handle this right now. I need to get away. And this is the only way I can think of how to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems far-fetched to me for her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But she does it anyway. So something is seriously wrong with her.
The other thing is the time is a little wobbly
Mm-hmm.
in Act 1. I don't know how much time we're looking at between the end of episode 9 of season 1 and when we get to this. Like, it feels like maybe at most a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So Vi is only a couple of weeks out from having been in prison, being repeatedly beaten by prison guards / enforcers. I'm not sure if there's a distinction there.
Yeah.
And then the one enforcer that she trusted, that she fell in love with,
Mm-hmm.
gut punches her hard.
Yeah, it's not just a jab.
Yeah.
She buckles. It's that hard.
I think a lot of it was also just that it was emotionally, it was just unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Caitlin hurts her both physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
That was brutal. Like, I knew Caitlin was going to be really cold, but that went further than I expected, I'll be honest. Caitlin definitely wasn't ready for a relationship.
It's a friendship falling out. It's a partnership falling out more than a romantic one. But of course, Vi feels it much more strongly because she has romantic feelings and she knows that Caitlin used to have that as well.
Yeah. I felt like in the first episode of season 2, Caitlin is still, for the most part, the Caitlin that we knew in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
She is changing. Her emotions are definitely heightened.
She still says in the very first scene where she's in the council chamber that if they make a charge, if they invade the Undercity, there will be people caught in the crossfire. She's still the good enforcer there, definitely.
Exactly. And I think that she's still in touch with and feeling those feelings that she has for Vi, which is why that moment that they have when they hug is kind of charged.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like once that attack on the memorial happens,
Mm-hmm.
it
snaps her.
It snaps her, but it's like anything positive that she feels kind of goes away.
I think maybe after the memorial thing, suddenly she can't feel the happy emotions anymore.
Yeah.
And she feels like, I can't have these happy emotions because it's wrong.
Yeah.
My mother is dead. I have to fill the void that she's left behind. I have to help. Everything is going to shit. Nothing went as it was supposed to. And how can I be having these feelings? You can actually see it there when she's in the tent and Vi is standing over her and Vi touches her on the cheek and dries a tear. Caitlin is leaning into the touch and then she's like, whoa, pulling her head away again with the coming close and then drawing back. But she takes away her head there because I think maybe if she leans into the happy feelings, there's a whole can of worms there that she doesn't want to mess with, that she doesn't want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want to do anything happy because it makes her feel guilty.
Yeah.
It makes her feel wrong to have those while everything else is so bad.
Yeah, and I think that after that attack on the memorial, she sees those emotions as a distraction. She needs to focus on the goal.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of why the kiss feels off, is because it doesn't really feel like that's where Caitlin's headspace is.
Mm-mm.
And then suddenly they're making out. The other thing is, we talked about how the events of the finale and what happened and the fact that Caitlin hesitated with Jinx because of her feelings for Vi and that she missed the shot and she was going to blame herself and that was going to keep them apart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we got a lot of that right. It's just that they needed to actually try it first before they realized that it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
You can't be in a romantic relationship with someone whose sister you want to kill. You can't be in a romantic relationship with someone who might kill your sister.
No.
It doesn't work. And because they're young and stupid and all their emotions are heightened, and so they didn't really get to think about how fucked up that was, I guess.
Yeah, well, there's the moment where Vi says, if you have the shot, take it. And then she's about to go and Caitlin says, Vi. And her voice is almost breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin realizing, this isn't right.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, Vi is so determined to get this done that well, then we get to a point of no return.
Yeah.
I still have hopes for them as a couple, but there will definitely be a very bad act 2 with Pit Fighter Vi and them being apart, and Ambessa being very domineering. I mean, Caitlin was surprised and she didn't plan to be the general, but I'm hoping her common sense will make her realize what it is Ambessa is doing.
Yeah. It's interesting to see her be seduced by Ambessa. Whether that turns into something physical, I don't know if that would happen, but...
What? No.
You don't think so, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put anything past these writers after they had Caitlin gut punch Vi with her rifle. I
know. I'm having these pictures on my... no, get out of my head.
Revenge. I just got my revenge for Heimerdinger Echo.
Yeah, oh, no. You're mean. Oh. Okay.
I think it will mostly be like an ideological seduction.
I certainly hope so.
not a physical
one.
I guess I was expecting Act 1 to be really, really bad, and then for Act 2 to start bad and then get better, but I think now I'm also expecting Act 2 to be bad.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought Act 1 was... There was a lot more romantic stuff between them than I had expected there to be at all. I thought they were going to be apart most of it. So the pacing felt a little off, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be together, but trying to kind of suppress the romantic side of them being together because they had shit to do. And it wasn't really emotionally appropriate in those circumstances.
No.
And because Caitlin was going to be a weird, emotionally suppressed mess.
Yeah.
But I guess we're getting Caitlin, the emotionally suppressed mess, in Act 2 or something. I don't know. So the best has happened and the worst has happened, although I would say the best has happened not in quite the way that I would have wanted.
But I still think the best is yet to come.
I mean, they're both hitting rock bottom, it looks like, in Act 2. So there's nowhere to go but up from there, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been around in circles. The characters have been around in circles.
Yeah.
We're going to keep going around in circles, probably in messages for the next week while we wait for Act 2. I can't wait to be depressed and angry some more next weekend. Oh.
We hope you liked this episode of us reacting, and we haven't really thought things through as much as we normally do before we discuss things. And I hope you'll listen next time for Act 2.
Bye-bye.